My landlord entered my home under the assumption that I was not there. The sight I witnessed, while concealing myself, was truly chilling. I'm Emily Dawson. This is inspired by a real, sensational event, which happened in Melbourne, Australia, and is narrated by S.A. Spencer, author of thrillers, The Pink Mutiny, and The Black Waters. Please stick around till the end. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and give it a thumbs up. Emily is not my real name, it has been changed to protect my identity. As a software engineer, I came to Australia on a business visa after securing a 2-year contract with an IT company. However, I was unaware of how challenging the rental market in Melbourne could be. I had to submit 10 applications to real estate agents every week, all of which were unsuccessful. Finding a job was easier than finding a place to rent. After nearly 3 weeks of staying in an Airbnb apartment, my savings were nearly depleted. A friend suggested I consider looking for a house on the outskirts of the city rather than a flat. However, as a single woman, I felt uncomfortable to live in a house. On a Saturday morning, I ventured out to a suburb, about 30 minutes away from my office, to inspect a property. Fortunately, the area had excellent public transport connections, so the commute didn't concern me. I figured it would be a great opportunity to enjoy the spacious backyard that comes with living in a house. My friend Chloe kindly offered to drive me to the property, which was being advertised directly by the owner, rather than through a real estate agency. If the landlord offered it to me, I planned on renting the house temporarily, while I continued my search for more affordable apartments. The rent advertised was a bit on the higher side for my budget. Located at the end of the street, the house boasted an extra-large backyard. Most of the backyard was not covered in lawn, but extended towards the nearest hill, blending seamlessly with a small forest nearby. There were around 15 people who came to see the house. Upon learning that the rent would be $500 per week, I turned to Chloe and suggested, I think we should reconsider. This place is more suitable for a family, and too large for just me. Chloe reassured me, said, Emily, don't worry about the price. My current rental contract will expire next month. Even though I can renew and continue staying there, if you're okay with it, I can come and share the place with you. We can split the rent. I chuckled and replied, only if my application gets approved. Unbeknownst to us, the landlord, James Harper, overheard our conversation. As everyone else left, he quietly requested, ladies, please wait until the others have gone. Chloe nudged me and said, Emily, it seems like you'll be getting the house. Since there's no real estate agent involved, the process shouldn't take too long. As long as the landlord is pleased, the house will be yours. I asked Chloe, why would the landlord be happy with us? She replied, Emily, it's because you're dressed in sexy shorts and a small top. I can see that he's captivated by you. But don't worry, I'm strong and will protect you. The landlord approached us, and before he could say anything, I quickly responded, I'm sorry, Mr. Harper, but this house is beyond our budget. To my surprise, he replied, don't worry, I can lower the rent if I find a good tenant. How about $300 per week? I was taken aback by how much he was willing to decrease the rent. Knowing the market, I understood that $300 per week was an incredible deal. There had to be a catch, something that might not be right for us. But before I could decline again, Chloe interjected, "We'll take this place, Mr. Harper." I hesitated and said, "The large backyard is a bit intimidating. It borders the hill and the forest." Mr. Harper reassured us, saying, "You're not supposed to go to the outer part of the backyard. There's a small fence that separates it. While I do own over 200 meters beyond that, it's not safe. There are many shrubs and weeds, making it a haven for snakes." When we moved into our new accommodation, Chloe said, "Didn't I say how a beautiful young woman is more desirable than a fat rent?" I responded, "I refuse to be the other woman in his marriage." Chloe laughed and asked, "Why not?" "It's the easiest way to obtain Australian citizenship." Despite our different backgrounds, both Chloe and I enjoyed our time in this new place. We often sat in the backyard, sipping afternoon tea, and admiring the beautiful small mountain that graced the outer area of the property. However, we heeded the landlord's advice and never crossed the fence. Neither Chloe nor I are Australian. I am from India, and Chloe is from the Philippines. A few months later, Chloe had spent over a month in the Philippines, taking care of her sick mother. During that time, I found myself alone. One day, when I returned home from the office earlier than usual, I noticed my landlord's car pulling away from the curb. I immediately recognized him sitting inside. It wasn't surprising, as he often took care of the lawn when neither Chloe nor I were home. This was before the COVID-19 pandemic, when working from home was not yet the norm. The following day, I was working from home when I suddenly felt a presence in the house. My heart raced in my chest as I realized Chloe wasn't with me, and the thought of an intruder put my life at risk. There had been reports of burglaries and thefts in the area, so I took refuge in my home to ensure my safety. Calling the police didn't even cross my mind, fearing that the thief might attack me if he knew I had alerted the authorities. In the master bedroom, there was a wardrobe directly across from the attached bathroom. I hid in the bathroom, anxiously waiting for the intruder to leave. I didn't have any valuable possessions, but I suspected he might take my office laptop. As I listened, I could hear footsteps approaching the bedroom, showing that he was getting closer to me. With caution, I cracked open the bathroom door to catch a glimpse of the thief's actions. I could only see his back as he rifled through my wardrobe, perhaps hoping to find hidden treasures. I had nearly stopped breathing, afraid that he might discover my hiding spot. He should have believed that there was none home, and that he could leave with whatever he could, as my insurance would cover any losses. I continued to carefully observe his actions. To my surprise, I saw him holding a delicate piece of lingerie and smiling at himself in the mirror. My eyes shifted to the mirror, and to my horror, it was my landlord. What was he doing here? Could it be possible that my landlord was a thief? He placed the lingerie on the bed and touched it as if he were caressing a woman. I couldn't bear to watch any longer. Who knew what else he might do? After some time, he left the bedroom. I waited an extra 5 minutes to ensure he had left the premises and driven away before I cautiously emerged. The whole situation was repulsive. I made up my mind to leave the house and find another place to live. However, we had signed a 1-year contract and had only been living there for 3 months. Leaving the house would mean having to pay a significant amount of money to the landlord. Chloe returned the following week, and I immediately felt a bit more at ease. "He must be mentally ill," she remarked. However, neither of us felt comfortable after that incident. To address the situation, we installed a few Wi-Fi cameras that could be powered by batteries. The recordings would be securely stored in the cloud. We strategically placed the cameras in various locations throughout the house, in all the bedrooms and the living area. It became quite amusing for us to observe our landlord's peculiar behavior. He would enter the house and inspect our lingerie. He's having a blast, and it's all free. Chloe laughed as we watched the video footage of our landlord snooping around our undergarments. Not exactly free, I interjected. He reduced the rent by $200 per week, effectively spending nearly $900 each month for his perverted pleasure, indirectly. Perverted indeed. It is illegal to enter someone's residence without their permission and invade their privacy like this. It's a serious breach of privacy, Chloe stated firmly. We continued to replay the video several times, analyzing James Harper's movements. Emily, pay close attention. James Harper is heading towards the back of the house. What could he possibly be up to back there? We reviewed the older video recordings and noticed him taking the underwear to the backyard, only to return nearly an hour later. What could he be doing? In the backyard and at the side gate, we discreetly installed cameras. The sight that greeted us left us speechless. The story is still continuing. Did you know the Pink Mutiny is now free on Amazon, and The Black Waters has also an attractive deal? Links to both books are in the description box below. Let me jump into the climax of the story. He was effortlessly leaping over the fence and strolling through the shrubs behind the house. Another wire fence stood before the hill. As he reached the vicinity of a large stone, he paused and began lifting an object, possibly a steel plate. Then, almost mysteriously, he seemed to disappear, as if he had descended into an underground realm. Chloe and I meticulously examined the videos, watching them over and over again. Emily, do you think we should venture beyond the fence and explore that area? Chloe said. I said, but remember, James once warned us about snakes roaming around there. He's just trying to scare us, so we won't uncover his secret hiding spot, Chloe reasoned. We had reached our breaking point. One day, Chloe and I hid in our kitchen as James made his usual visit to his secret hiding place. Once he left, we cautiously emerged and swiftly hopped over the fence. Carefully scanning our surroundings to avoid any snakes, we finally arrived at the spot where James frequently disappeared. To our surprise, there was a large steel plate blocking the entrance, a feat that only our muscular landlord could accomplish. Emily, look, Chloe whispered to me, there's a tiny hole for light and air to get through. We attempted to peer inside, but could see nothing. Determined to uncover James' secret, I knelt down near the small opening and called out, "Hello, is anyone in there?" I repeated my plea several times, but received no response. Emily, let's go back, Chloe suggested. Maybe James is performing some kind of secret ritual inside. Just as we were about to depart, a faint female voice emerged from beneath. Please help me. We stood there, stunned. It was clear that we couldn't rescue whoever was trapped inside on our own. Without hesitation, we decided to call the police. The police arrived and rescued the girl, bringing an end to James' 2-year-long imprisonment of her. He was promptly arrested. It has been 6 months since the incident, and he has now been sentenced to 50 years in prison. Meanwhile, Chloe and I continue to reside in the same house, but we are uncertain who to pay the rent to. Could you kindly offer some suggestions on what we should do? Please share your responses in the comments, as we both will read and consider each one.